Jakarta's call to prayer echoes through the city at 4 in the morning. Designed to be haunting in nature to create self-reflective thought, this Muslim tradition keeps a certain pace throughout the city, creating a truly unique Southeast Asian megacity. What is it about Jakarta that keeps me coming back here? It's not a very pretty place. In fact, among Southeast Asian megacities, from Bangkok to Manila, it's the least popular, least visited city. It's an ugly, concrete jungle. But it has elements you won't find anywhere else. Unique cuisine, unique people, a startling lack of tourists or boules as called by the locals. And while no city is free of crime or problems, Jakarta feels safer to me than Bangkok, Manila, or even Kuala Lumpur. And that's even despite an unfortunate history of terrorist attacks. In Jakarta, the prices are unbeatable. There are far fewer scams to worry about, like in cities such as Bangkok. The food is amazing, and the people are, of course, beyond amazing. It's just not very pretty. But who cares? Prettiness is just a surface attribute, right? For my third trip to Jakarta, I stayed in South Jakarta, the area known as Mega Cunningham. This is part of Jakarta's so-called Golden Triangle of financial centers and is surrounded by high-rise hotels, banking complexes, and everywhere you look are foreign businessmen. It's also loaded with nightlife and fun places for a traveler to check out. To understand Jakarta and Indonesia, it's best to focus on the food. Fried rice, known as nasi goreng by the locals, is a staple in anyone's diet. Perhaps unlike Japanese or Chinese fried rice, nasi goreng is loaded with special ingredients such as papaya, fermented vegetables, egg, and chicken. I took a motorbike taxi into central Jakarta by the Grand Indonesia Mall to locate one of my favorite restaurants called Bali Beckon. This was definitely my favorite restaurant when I was in Jakarta last year, so I had to find it again. Here is an example of a packet dish, also known as a combination platter. A traditional combo includes rice, fermented soy known as tempeh, chicken known as ayam, regular tofu, chili sauce, and cucumbers. There are many other types of Indonesian food to try, including various types of fish, corn soups, and fried vegetable dishes. I later returned to Bali Beckon because there was a particular dish that was amazing and I had to document it for this video, and it's their central Javanese fried tempeh called tempeh orek. And wow, this was the best tempeh I've eaten in Indonesia. You can buy it with rice and a side of their famous iced sweet tea. I will say that the Indonesians are masters of tea and coffee, but that's a whole different video. As a point of contention, I will say that in Indonesia, as in most cities, I do not buy street food, as good as it is. This strategy has resulted in avoiding my stomach pills far more often than other travelers who indulge in the street food and inevitably get sick. So going back out onto the streets of Jakarta, you may pass these huge friendly spirits called the ondel-ondel. These giant doll-like costume characters are hilarious, and they're also operated usually by street beggars, so go ahead and give them some money and get some photos with them because it's worth it. You can also attend an ondel-ondel performance, which are commonly found throughout the city. Leaving Bali Beckon, I decided to check out the Grand Indonesia Mall. Like many places in Southeast Asia, there is this curious contrast between poverty and grandiosity. Such a mall like this one dwarfs any mall that could be found in the West. It is so massive, the upper levels begin to feel like you're in a self-contained city with its own streets and districts. You can find almost anything you want in a mall like Grand Indonesia. I visited one of the supermarkets and decided to look for my favorite fruit in Indonesia, which is called dragon fruit or buah naga. I've never seen this fruit in the USA. Soft and spiny, it looks and feels like a dragon's skin. Its bright red color is magnificent to behold, and the fruit is easily red enough to double as ink. The taste is also quite refreshing. Since I was in central Jakarta, I figured it was a good time to pay a visit to the Monas, or the Indonesian Independence Monument, one of the primary tourist destinations of the city. This giant, shall we say, phallic symbol overlooks the city at 132 meters tall. If you want to visit the top, arrive early because tickets sell out fast. Otherwise, the park grounds are a common place to pose for, shall we say, creative photos of the monument extending out from certain parts of the body. Eventually, I moved to a different part of south of Jakarta in a new Airbnb, the area known as Rasuna Epicentrum. Of all areas of Jakarta, this is closest in style to looking like Singapore or another Asian tiger city. As an affluent area, expect prices much steeper than the rest of the city, but still affordable compared to the West. Some of the nicest restaurants in the city can also be found in this area, and it attracts many wealthy business people from around the world. We have to make it clear, Jakarta has some of the world's best nightlife, and many people come to Jakarta just for this sole purpose. As someone who's now outgrown most typical nightclubs, I didn't go out to the big, fancier ones for this video, but if you're into that, keep in mind some of the biggest clubs include Domain and Coliseum. Coliseum features a giant, lavish indoor space with world-famous DJs. The entrance cost is usually about 200,000 rupees, which is about 15 US dollars. When I did go out at night, I stuck to the Cunningham area. This is a place known for its expat community with plenty of bars and live music locations. If you just want to go out for beers and mix with locals and boules, fellow tourists and expats alike, this is a good spot. This night I visited McGettigan's, famous for its drinks and karaoke. This white expat girl could sing Adele roughly as good as Adele herself, and I'm not usually a big fan of karaoke, but she won me over. No time in Jakarta is complete without visiting North Jakarta. This is where you can find Kota Tua, or Jakarta's Old Town. I'll put on travel vlog. To understand this place, it's important to understand Indonesian history. The Dutch spread across Indonesia via the Dutch East India Company. This was a perfect example of a marriage between imperialism and corporatism. Ultimately, the Dutch enacted full control of the islands throughout the 19th and early 20th centuries, and it did not end until the Japanese invaded in the early 1940s. The Japanese replaced one imperial rule with another one which was far more brutal. It wasn't until around the end of World War II that Indonesia proclaimed its true independence from any colonial system. Today, however, the Bavarian culture and occupation is remembered with a kind of nostalgia that people enjoy. Parts of Jakarta still possess Dutch European styles, and these styles are even recreated in modern buildings, while some of the old buildings, such as those found here at Kota Tua, represent the old town of Jakarta. This is a major tourist spot for taking photos, visiting museums, and exploring Jakarta's past. One thing I noticed that people love to do here, at least the ladies, is pose with one of these colorful bicycles and a flowery hat. It's just what everyone does here, so maybe it's some kind of old Batavian tradition? I decided to head to the Batavia market to try out the famous black bun burger. And just like that, I became the victim of a tourist trap. Yes, the black bun burger is black. It's a strangely textured bun containing an altogether mediocre hamburger topped with a fried egg. Unfortunately, unless you go to a specialty Western restaurant, you will never eat a burger that tastes like a normal burger. It doesn't taste bad, it just tastes different, and altogether not very interesting. But that's what happens when you eat at restaurants close to tourist hotspots. You end up getting tourist trapped. After having my fill of the old town, I grabbed a motorbike taxi to head all the way back to south of Jakarta. However, during the rainy season, there's a danger of your motorbike ride being interrupted. Once the rain starts pouring, your taxi driver is most likely going to pull over someplace until the rain clears out. And so you'll have to wait a while until you get back on the road again. Fortunately, we happened to pull over next to a good coffee shop, so I was able to keep myself occupied for about half an hour. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed that travel guide to Jakarta. So I'm just here in the Rasuna Epicentrum district at the moment and packing up to get ready to get out of here and head off to my next destination, which is none other than Osaka, Japan. So I'm pretty excited about this. I've been to Japan once before for a few days, and now this will be a chance to really explore Japan. So very excited about that. Overall, it's been another great time in Jakarta. I will miss Jakarta. I would not be surprised if I ended up back here again. Oh yeah, one last thing. I didn't want to forget this. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you like this video. This is a little tiny micro channel. I just do this for fun. But any help with promoting the channel would be nice, because then more people get to watch this stuff. And it's more fun. Bigger audience means I'm more motivated to keep doing this video. So anyway, yeah, so be sure to hit that subscribe button, that notification bell, as well as like it, share it, all that good stuff. Okay, talk to you guys next time.